Well, it really came from, Ethan and I were playing together a lot. I had met him. My first year of college was in Wisconsin,
Hmm.
and about an hour and a half from Minneapolis, where I grew up. And Ethan is from a small town there, which was very close to where I went to school that year. And Jeff Keezer's father taught percussion at that school,
Oh,
and he was aware of Ethan. He put us together because Ethan had to make a demo tape for some jazz camp he wanted to go to, and we hit it off right away, and so that relationship translated into New York. So he and I had been doing stuff, obviously on my first two records. I played on his records, etc. Dave, in the meantime, had been doing like really great stuff in Minneapolis. Yeah, this band still does, called Happy Apple,
yeah,
which is a very
it's good
really
tune.
cool
I love the
band,
tune. Yeah.
and like a real band, like that. That was kind of like one of the like progenitors of the Bad Plus, and just having this band concept. And I think, I think Ethan had done some pickup gig out in Wisconsin, and he had called Dave to do it, and he came back and he was like, "Yeah, Dave's a really interesting drummer." So anyway, the three of us were doing stuff individually, and we thought, well, let's just see what would happen if we play together. There's a story in Bad Plus lore that we did. The three of us get together in like 1990 in my parents' living room, and nothing really came of it because we were all like pretty immature and not ready to really play together at that time. But yeah, fast forward to, this was like, I don't know, I guess 2000 or something like that, and we just did a couple of gigs, and
Mhm.
we just felt like there was something there, um, something that, and also I should say that, like, there was something generally in the air at the time, and probably still is, where it's like, wouldn't it be great if we could just have a band?
Mm,
If we
yeah.
could just commit, and everybody commits, and we have a sound, and we just do it. We make whatever sacrifices you have to make this happen. And for the three of us, we collectively said, this is the this is an opportunity to do that, because we just felt like there was something conceptually, there was something, we had something unique between the three of us. We share some common aesthetic, uh, yeah, just a general. There was a meeting in the middle of some really important aesthetics that we all held,
Yeah.
and that's really, yeah, that was really the beginning. And then starting to do, one of the early things we did was like a version of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and
Yeah, exactly.
that kind of coalesced something, like doing those covers that we became kind of known for. It was this great in one way it was a great outreach opportunity, like, because when you're out there playing a song like Smells Like Teen Spirit in a jazz context where it's surprising to people, especially back in at that point,
Yeah.
we weren't the first people to do it, but like it was still like a pretty fresh idea. And it really opened the door for us to kind of find a sound for ourselves, because you can really go all kinds of places with that, and people are still with you.
Yeah.
Um,
How did you decide to
and
do that
and
actually? To do Nirvana and those
it
covers
was
and
just kind of a whim. But, well, yeah, it was just kind of like, well, here's a really popular song, and Ethan didn't really even know it. He was kind of like
I really, oh, wow. Okay.
blissfully unaware of the rock music scene. Um, but yeah, it was just like, part of it was, and well, another precursor to the Bad Plus is Dave and I did a recording in like 1993. He was living out in LA, and I flew out there, and we did this recording that someday we'll, I don't know, digitize it and put it out somewhere. But we did like Jimi Hendrix, Spanish Castle Magic. We did The Ocean by Led
Really?
Zeppelin. We did,
Oh
you
man. Okay.
know, yeah, like including a couple like sort of original tunes. Like the only other, like I wrote like three of my very, very first tunes that were the only three tunes I wrote until Dirty Show Tunes. And so we had this idea, like Dave and I used to sit around fantasizing, you know, talking when we were high school kids. We would just be in my, you know, in my parents' family room talking about music and say, wouldn't it be great, you know, if you went to a jazz show and the band came out and they were like playing the Police, you know, it was just an idea whose time had come, you know, and we were kind of like, it's something we would have wanted to see. And then when we got the opportunity, it just was like, well, let's just do this thing that we would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it so that was a very useful like way to engage the audience and allow us to do the things we were interested in, which was like the avant-garde, but also embrace this pop sensibility as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, bring our own writing and into the mix. And so that was like the beginning of the Bad Plot.
How did that story with Columbia begin, and what what did it mean for you? Like, you know, obviously it's like a huge step from Fresh Sound to Columbia, and I know you became like
Yeah,
everyone, at least here in Slovenia, was like the Bad Plus, man. Like at least in the jazz circles, we were recording copies of CDs and stuff, and you know, and
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's without that, I mean, that kind of made our career unquestionably, you know, like that was the last gasp of the record industry as it used to
yeah,
be, you know,
yeah.
like we signed with Columbia. Um, Yves Beauvais, who was the A&R person for Columbia at that time, he had come to see us. We had one night at the Village Vanguard for I think it was the JVC festival. They had a week of one band every night. And we played and yeah, we killed it. It was like a really good night, you know. And Eve was like, yeah, okay, I want to sign you guys to Columbia, which was, you know, blew our minds. And but I guess, you know, in a way, it was just one of those things where an opportunity coincided with we were ready for it, you know. Like we had been playing enough, we knew what we were doing. We had, you know, we had written music that we kind of had a sense of what we were about, you know. And then all of a sudden to have like that muscle of a real record label behind you, it just opened so many doors, and it was really quite a experience, you know. I have to say it was really it was amazing. You know, we made the records in Peter Gabriel's studio in England, the first three records, and it just yeah, just kind of took off.